two ninjas spoiling movies.
Yeah,
And Brandon Collins.
that's me.
It's just a brand for your movie needs. Medium popcorn.
Woo!
You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it.
Who's the master?
Well, that's your warning.
Uh.
And if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
What's up, little biscuits and sun-dried tomatoes? It's your boy Eddie Collins,
Guys, this is Justin Brown.
and we are Medium Popcorn Ninja Spoiling Movies, and we are back with another edition of movie news and trailer reactions from the good old folks over here at Medium Popcorn. Going to break down some recent movie news that came to our attention, give our brief thoughts, and then keep it moving.
Yes.
How's that sound, little biscuits? That butter your biscuit, or is that the saying?
You said, how
I-
about that?
I said
little
biscuits. I said biscuits way too
Yeah.
many times. Way
Too many biscuits. Too many biscuits.
Way too many biscuits. Speaking of too many biscuits, our first story is about Chris Farley. That's so disrespectful. I should have done that.
How dare you?
I'm coming out hot. I didn't mean to, folks. It's been a long day already. But Chris Farley is finally getting a biopic with Paul Walter Hauser potentially playing the legendary comic, with Josh Gad of Book of Mormon fame directing.
Mm-hmm.
He'll also be working alongside Lauren Michaels, who of course will be producing the project, because anyone who has anything to do with SNL, anything they do is produced by Lauren Michaels. That's like in their contract. It's kind of crazy.
Wait, was Josh Gad a SNL writer or something like that?
No, he's a Broadway guy.
Oh, okay. The Chris Farley connection. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I'm sure like Josh Gad, like many people like who like, you know, grew up in the 90s and stuff like that, like has a huge affinity for Chris Farley. It's based on the biography by Chris Farley's brother, Tom Farley Jr., and Tanner Colby. And the family's given the blessing for the project. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about it. I think Paul Walter Hauser, he's been doing some really great work.
Oh, 100%.
As Chris Farley, that's going to be curious. He could, like, they don't look alike, but
I think he could pull it.
I think he could pull it off. Yeah, the physical comedy, especially, like just given what he did in Cobra Kai alone. But he also has good dramatic chops too, based on Black Klansman, Ritual Jewel, Blackbird. Yeah, like, you know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm cautiously optimistic. The only thing that gives me pause is Josh Gad directing. You know, it's like one of those things where it's like he hasn't been tested like that, and this is a very important person for a lot of comedy fans.
Yeah, true.
And so it's important to get it right. It's important to get it right. And I don't know if Josh Gad, like you were talking about, is connected with that SNL family enough to get the feedback or insight that he might need to. You got to be close with Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Rock. Like, be close with all those dudes, really get an idea of what it was like working with him. Then obviously talk to the family, get a perspective from, because I feel like they might all have different perspectives. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel like the family might have a very rosy perception of Chris Farley and thinking like, oh, his drug use is like overblown, blah, blah, blah. And then SNL does, but no, he had a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the people who work closely to you, they kind of know a little bit more about who you really are.
Especially at SNL when they were together like 24/7, basically. Yeah.
So I mean, and the way that show is structured is, you know, it's like a meat grinder. So you know, like, you know, but you know, you're in or you're out. So it's like it's a really competitive show. So I could see how that could get a little, you know, squirrely there.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the best. As I think everyone who listens to this podcast, who probably, you know, given like our fans and the comedy sensibility that we seem to connect on, I think they're probably fans of like old Chris Farley stuff. You know. Yeah, it's always curious what he could have been. Like, I think Chris Farley, if he had been like in the Kevin James roles, like Paul Blart and like in Grown Ups, that would have made those projects exponentially funny.
Oh yeah.
Not saying Kevin James isn't a funny dude.
No. But Chris Farley was a different.
Chris Farley as Paul Blart would have been fucking nuts.
Beverly Hills Ninja is still one of my favorites.
It's so stupid.
It is so stupid.
It's really stupid.
But it's so good though.
Yeah. Or him as Shrek.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Myers is classic in the role now,
100%,
but
100%.
I just always wonder. That's like one of those alternate universes. Like if Will Smith had been like Neo from The Matrix, like what could have it been? But everything happens for a reason.
I like, you know, just, you know, speaking in that frame, I'm glad that Will Smith didn't do The Matrix.
Yes,
because that's the movie that gave us Keanu. Well, Keanu Reeves was around before that.
Yep.
But it brought him back into the public eye.
Yeah, for sure.
It
That's what
revitalized his career.
Everything happened for a reason. Like it all worked out. Well, some better than others right now. But that's the thing with careers is everyone has ups and downs. Like, you know, you and I know like on, you know, the personal professional side, we're in a down area kind of right now, but it's gonna come back up. It's gonna come back up.
Eventually
that's why
folks rise to the top.
That's why folks, you should subscribe to Patreon at patreon.com/media popcorn. Help us get back up, baby.
Yeah. Help us rise. Help the cream rise. Please.
We definitely need help. So speaking of things that you know that don't quite pan out, Zack Snyder, director of Rebel Moon films on Netflix, most recently, and of course the Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Man of Steel movies, talked about how he had spoken to Adam Driver and Leonardo DiCaprio about playing Lex Luthor. Both obviously passed, and the role was given to Jesse Eisenberg. Yep. But he said, yeah, and Leo was like, I don't know. He was really smart about the material and really smart about the character. And Zack Snyder added,
he gave some pretty good ideas.
Yeah. Well, Zack Snyder added in a lot of ways. I think he was the one that mentioned to me the idea about Superman fighting the Justice League at some point, which I'm like, okay, sure. Like, but Leo still didn't do your movie, so
yeah. I mean, but you know, then there was the whole thing that they were trying to get Leo to do the Riddler.
Yeah,
which that would have been interesting. But I'm glad that they didn't go with the Riddler and they went with Bane for the third movie. But
yeah, you're talking about for the
Dark Knight,
the Christopher Nolan stuff.
Yeah,
because I was like for the Riddler for the Batman with Matt Reeves, it was Paul Dano or Jonah Hill, and they really wanted Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
but he wanted to. No, they really wanted Jonah Hill for the Penguin. I'm sorry. And he wanted to play the Riddler. They were like, no, we have a different vision for the Riddler. I got that mixed up. But everything works out.
Yep.
Everything, because Leo would not have been happy with this movie. He's holding out on doing superhero movies. The only character I can see them really convincing Leo to do, because they're going to throw all the money at him, and it would be a good role for him, would be Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
But I think they're going to lock in Cillian Murphy for that.
I can see that.
You know, I mean, I think either one would be a great option. But if you were to get Leo to do something, it could be that.
Honestly, so I mean, I don't want to get too deep into Marvel stuff because it's not necessarily on the docket. But you know, there's also been talks about you know, old school Batman himself. Not, I don't know why I'm calling him the old school Batman because he's not. And for some reason, I just can't remember the boy's name.
Robert Pattinson?
No.
Christian Bale?
Yes. Christian Bale talking about how he would return to Marvel as another character because when he played the character in Thor,
Gorda, God Destroyer.
That he wasn't as recognizable because he had lost a bunch of weight and yada yada. I'm just like, I could see that, and I'm fine with that. But then there's also talks of Batista wanting to return to play a completely different character because he was painted and things like that. So he's like, people wouldn't recognize me if I played Apocalypse or someone like that.
Yeah, here's where this is where things get really murky. And it's funny, I was actually talking to some comic book, blurs like ourselves the other day. And the continuity of Marvel is something that I think we very much took for granted as fans. Because I think outside of Terrence Howard and Edward Norton, they didn't have to recast anybody really, or like anyone that had a notable role up until Avengers Endgame, right? And now the thing that's going to be really curious for me is how Deadpool deals with all these different. We're going to talk about the trailer, obviously, and a few about how that deals with the multiverse. Because I think Deadpool is the opportunity to kind of not
course correct, no,
not
but course correct,
but clarify. I would say clarify because the fact that Daredevil, which is being redone, is now technically that Netflix shit's technically canon. Now we're in a different ball game here because now you have Cottonmouth played by Mahershala Ali from the Luke Cage stuff, or are they going to be selective on what actually is canon from Netflix? But then how do you make that clear to fans? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so many. There's so many different webs or branches, like whatever they call them. It's messy now because John Barenthal is going to be back as Punisher. Guess who was in Punisher with him? Ebon Moss-Bachrach from The Bear, who's now the Thing in Fantastic Four. So now we're doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I really need clarification from Marvel. But one thing that Marvel is for sure doing is making a Spider-Man 4. And apparently Tom Holland recently revealed at the Sands International Film Festival that he is actually in the room with folks. He had this to say: "The simple answer is that I always want to do Spider-Man films." Tom told Deadline, "I owe my life and career to Spider-Man, so this simple answer is yes. I always want to do more." He said, "We have the best in the business working towards the story what the story might be, but until we've cracked it, we have a legacy to protect. The third movie was so special in so many ways that we want to make sure we do the right thing." And then he admitted, "This is the first time in the process I've been part of creative so early. It's just a process where I'm watching and learning. It's a really fun stage for me." So that's a backtrack from him kind of being like, I might be getting over Spider-Man.
Yeah. So this is the thing. To me, it sounds like he was like, I'm kind of getting over Spider-Man. They're just like, hey, how about we give you a little bit more creative control and bring you in, just to, keep him interested.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I read that MCU book. I'm blanking on the fucking name of it. Didn't really tell you much more that you can get from like comicbook.com or something if you've been keeping up with this shit. But basically, like, yeah, Tom Holland was going to torpedo that shit. When Sony and Marvel broke up, like, the contract negotiations for a second, he was like, he was going to fight tooth and nail not to do it.
Yeah.
If they didn't work together. And so they came together for his sake. And so I imagine, like, in order to get him back, because I'm sure if Tom Holland doesn't return, Zendaya ain't coming back.
No.
So you're going to lose both of them? Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, like Tom Holland holds all the cards. His people did right by probably giving him an executive producer credit.
And he's also a very young actor.
Yeah.
And like, because he could play that role.
He could play that role for a while.
Every iteration of that role going through. It's just like having somebody that young and, that young and that experience.
Yeah.
And also being that good as he was in that role, iconic level. You kind of need him. You don't want to lose him.
Exactly. I know a lot of people like dream about like, oh, Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire doing a Spider-Man 4 or something like that, or Andrew Garfield even come back and doing a Spider-Man 3. But I'm like, that could be too much of a good thing. I think they were perfect in the amount they were in No Way Home. Give Tom Holland his own shit without having another character popping in and stuff. Yeah. Let him be Spider-Man solo.
Well, but that's the thing, because Sony wants to.
They want to bring them back.
Yeah, they want to do the multiverse. Yeah, they want to do a multiverse thing because all
it's that cash grab now. It's not even for the story. It's literally like we want to blow out the box office again.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen if we do a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. It's just so egregious.
That's the thing. Wait down the road. Yeah. They have Secret Wars. You could do it there. You don't need to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like that's probably what's slowing up the process. That Tom Holland's going to side probably with Kevin Feige and MCU, which means they're going to it's going to be messy. But hopefully they'll come together and come up with a story that works for everybody. I always love Spider-Man, so. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Spider-Man 3 video game before we get a Spider-Man 4, honestly.
Oh, honestly, I could see that happening. That's a real possibility.
Also, can I be frank about something with Spider-Man 2, the video game? It's great, but I could have definitely done without like Harry and Peter going to the school. The Harry Peter flashbacks. I could have done without those missions. I could have done without the Mary Jane walking to the house and like
that was
with it is what it is. Taser. I could have definitely done without that stuff.
That's light shit though.
I know,
very light.
I know, but it just the first game felt so tight, even though it had so much going on. This one felt like there was a lot of fat on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, no. Well, the first game had some fat because you had the Mary Jane missions in there that people hated.
But they were a little bit quicker. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I'm stepping off my complaint box. Soapbox?
Soapbox.
Why is it called soapbox?
I don't know. Because I think that people would actually step on a soapbox, like the box
to declare.
Yeah, no, to like speak and yada yada yada.
Oh, okay.
Like niggas standing on the the corner of like in front of Penn Station.
Yeah. Okay. The Black Israelites?
Some of those people, they're on soapboxes. but other people do that back in the day.
Folks, you have not had a New York experience if you have not encountered the Black Israelites on Penn Station. Boy. They look like fucking people from what's that movie with Eddie Murphy? The Golden Child?
slash Power Rangers.
Yeah, they look nuts. Yeah. But anyways, it's a free country. Do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt people.
Even though it seems like when they're out there, they are waiting for you to say something so they can hurt you.
Yeah, for sure.
They are aggressive.
Speaking of hurting people and being aggressive, Ready or Not directors say that they have an absolute banger of an idea as a sequel to their 2019 hit that starred Samara Weaving, Tyler Gillette, and Matt Battelli-Olpin, who also recently directed Abigail, which just came out in theaters, and of course the Scream 5 and Scream 6 recent entries in the series. He said it's getting figured out. That's what we'll say. Ready or Not 2 is definitely getting figured out. What we can say is that there was a script that is an absolutely fucking banger of a sequel. However it gets made and in whatever capacity we are helping get it made, we are so excited that's happening. So Ready or Not, we both are fans of. I believe we reviewed on this podcast. 100%. It's on the Patreon behind the paywall, folks, if you want to listen to it. And I've been a fan of these guys for quite a bit. But I have to admit, Justin, I saw Abigail last week, and I talk about it a little bit more in my mini episode on Patreon this month. It feels like they're regressing as a creative team. And between Scream 6 and now this, it feels like something's going on. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's because the movie was rushed. It was a fun film, sort of, but it just definitely felt messy. Like it didn't feel as Ready or Not felt like a very tight, very specific.
It came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere too, yeah. So maybe the surprise element as well. Also, maybe Samara Weaving. Like Melissa Barrera is like a very talented actress, and she's hot as fuck. But Samara Weaving, I watched Ready or Not again last week. She just has a presence, man. I don't know what it is.
Very much so.
So who knows?
There's a presence, all right.
Yeah, because Ready or Not ended with her outside the house. So who knows? Like maybe like they continue to lure.
Yeah, or like maybe she does get remarried and this shit happens again. Like
who knows? Does she? Does the curse continue with her because she technically married into the family?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because they were supposed to kill her. That was the deal with the game, and she won. Interesting. I mean, they could definitely do a few things with the idea. More horror IP that's getting a reboot is the Blaire Witch Project, which was announced by Lionsgate and Blumhouse, the beginning of reboot. Of course, we're talking about the famed 1999 film, which have we ever reviewed that for the podcast?
No, and I don't think that we need to. That movie, I'm sorry. Other people may disagree. I thought it was trash.
Well, at the time,
when I was a kid, I hated it.
At the time, it was interesting, but it also made me be like, I could do that. And then I remember for school, like we were supposed to do a project for like Black History Month. And it was supposed to be like my project was supposed to revolve around the book Roll Thunder, Hear My Cry. I just made up some shit. I filmed a Blaire Witch Project spoof. I remember I played it and for the great Mrs. Fraser. I never forget this. I played it and I'm just like cheesing because it's like just crazy parody with me and my friend Billy and Dan. It's just
running around in the woods.
Just madness with our cameras and shit. I'm trying to like shoehorn Roll Thunder, Hear My Cry in it with two white boys like, hey, remember in Roll Thunder, Hear My Cry? But then like madness would be happening with like a fake witch and shit. And I remember Mrs. Fraser, I turned to her as everyone's watching the TV. I turned her on the side, she's at her desk, and she's got her head in her hands. I know. I'll never forget that. This older Black woman just like despondent. Just like I should have given clear up.
She's like, why? Why is he like this?
Kind of probably. Yep. All the Black female teachers I had were like just confused all the time about my behavior. But the original creators of Blaire Witch Hear My Blaire Witch Project, Blaire Witch Hear My Cry, Jesus Christ, said it's a bit bittersweet because the original creators are not being looped in on this reboot.
Yeah,
apparently, I guess Lionsgate must have got all the IP and stuff, and that's why it's really important if you have a breakout hit that you have lawyers, that you have reps that are looking out for you, that make sure you are looped into anything regarding that IP.
Because they will get you.
Yep. And it's crazy because it sounds like they didn't get royalties or any kind of thing.
Oh, they fucked up.
Yeah, they constantly overlooked. You know, they did a 2000 sequel and then a follow-up in 2016, and they haven't really gotten anything from that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and especially given that the original was made for $35,000, ended up making millions. You know, you would think, hey, maybe we should loop in the original creative team.
No, well, you know.
Well, you know, that's
just not.
Yeah, that's Hollywood.
Yeah, it's Hollywood, baby.
Speaking of Hollywood and Blumhouse, they recently announced new casting news for fast-paced thriller called Drop, where Jacob Robinson and Violet Bean have been cast alongside Megan Fahey, who was from The White Lotus, and an actor named Brendan Scanlon. The reason why I bring this up is because I know some folks that are currently working on this project. Chris Landon, who had to drop out of the Scream 7 because of that whole debacle. He's taken over directing, and so I have some insight on the plot. I'm not sure why it's being kept under wraps, like the log line. But it was pitched to me by my contact at Universal, and it's pretty dope. Like when he told me it, I'm like, that could have been the plot for Scream 7, or at least the opening. Like, and he's like, yeah, like that's why we got that's why we got Chris. I was like, damn. So yeah, that's the reason why I bring this up. It's not like the most exciting news, but I definitely think that Christopher Landon, after being fucked over with the Scream 7 stuff, he's got something to prove, and the idea is bonkers. I'll tell you all, Mike. It's pretty dope though.
Okay.
Like when I tell you, you'd be like, oh yeah, that would have been a good opening for like a Scream movie or something like that.
It's just, just dope, just something, just cool shit. You
yes, please, cool original shit.
Yes, like tired of seeing the same fucking
bro.
shit.
They're rebooting Melrose Place. What the fuck are we doing?
Why?
Heather Locklear ain't been popping for 30 years, my nigga. Like, who else was on that show?
I don't know.
Tiffany, what's her name
Amber Thiessen? No,
Tiffany, what's her name though from Saved by the Bell was on it for a second.
What's her name?
Who?
Is it Tiffany Amber Thiessen? Who's Tiffany Amber Thiessen?
I think that's her name. I think you're right. I think you want the money.
Okay, you looked at me. I was just like, wait a second. Did I just say the girl from Power Rangers? Like, that's not her.
No, that's Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah. I think it's Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yes, I think so. Lisa Rennie, Alyssa Milano was on it.
Oh, goddamn.
Vanessa Williams was on it too.
Ooh, Vanessa. You guys know how I love me some Vanessa.
Denise Richards was on it too. Oh, so this is like white MILF. Famke Johnson was on this. Okay, so this is like 90s. Like you like a white woman that might fuck you real good and then kill you. It's like a basic instinct vibe. I don't know.
Fuck you real good and kill you. What?
You never know, baby. Since we're staying in the horror genre, it was recently announced that for 28 years later, the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days, 28 Weeks Later, 28 years later will now star Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ray Fiennes for Danny Boyle and Sony Pictures. Yeah, this thing is coming together.
So here's the thing. Reading this thing's like, been in a coma, such and such and such. Would the zombies not eat somebody in a coma because they're, reduced brain function?
I mean, that's typically probably the reason. Like when I think about Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I think, but isn't the thing, well, yeah, because Cillian Murphy's character 28 Days Later, he woke up 28 days later.
Yeah.
Into it. So that's what I've always gotten the impression is like,
yeah, the reduced brain function. They wouldn't fuck just like oh,
they were just thinking he's like a corpse, basically, or something. Which is inconsistent in some zombie movies because sometimes zombies still eat up corpses and shit. It's weird.
I'm not sure.
Nonetheless, I mean, there's no word if Cillian Murphy will be appearing in this reboot, but they're already talking to Candyman director Nia DaCosta about helming the second part of this planned trilogy. So I'm guessing it's a zombie movie. It's 28 weeks later, surprised the fuck out of me because that's actually a pretty good sequel, but also, spoiler everybody, pretty much everyone dies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are these three going to continue through the trilogy? And if they are, Aaron Taylor Johnson's definitely not playing Bond now, right?
True.
There's no way he could commit to both of these.
Unless Bond is just put on the back burner.
And Bond will never be put on the back.
No. But I mean, it could have been delayed.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's definitely possible that Aaron Taylor Johnson could do this before Bond, especially they don't have like a script or director locked in or anything like that. But that's like some tight logistical, like he's essentially just doing this and Bond for the next 5-something years. I mean, but yeah,
people have done it.
yeah, I just feel like he's more versatile than that. But you never know. Like, you could be like, I just want to like get this money, and then I'll take like a few years off and just chill.
Yeah, but I would do it. I would. Like,
would you, man? Like Daniel Craig, when he did the interviews towards the end of the James Bond run, he sounded like fucking.
He's like, I'm tired.
Like he was like, I'd rather kill myself.
Honestly, though, I think part of it is the fact is staying in shape for that. It's a grind.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a grind to stay in like that tip top shape for some of these roles. So like the people from Marvel and just all of these like this films or franchise are very athletic.
Yeah.
I think that people don't realize that those actors are under a lot of stress, that they have to keep themselves in
Oh, for
peak
sure.
shape all throughout that. And like you can't fall out.
Yeah, that's what's got to be frustrating for someone like Simu Lee, or like even to an extent what's my man's name from Silicon Valley and Eternals? Indian guy. Fuck.
Oh
Who's the
yeah,
big
yeah,
stick?
yeah,
But you know who I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Because they got writs for those roles, and there's nowhere on the sequel. I mean, Eternals 2 is definitely probably not happening, but uh
No, it's gonna. I've heard it's gonna be something different.
yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show.
They're gonna meld it into
Yeah, we
other.
talked
Yeah,
about it in
yeah,
previous movie
right.
news, but yeah, it sucks to have to stay like I imagine for the actor strike, like there's no way that especially like Hugh Grant, I'm not Hugh Grant, Hugh Jackman wasn't like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm nearly
Well,
killing
and
myself to
that's
do
the thing. And
this
Hugh
already.
Jackman is what 50.
He's late 50s.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like to get back into that shape is nuts for him.
Yeah, exactly. But well, like we said, Eternals 2 probably isn't happening, but it's not stopping Brian Tyree Henry from booking some gigs.
He gonna eat, baby.
Yeah, he recently just joined the cast of the untitled coming of age musical from director Michael Condrey and producer Pharrell Williams, which apparently is about Pharrell Williams' childhood growing up in the city's Atlantis, in Virginia Beach's Atlantis apartments in 1977. So it's going to be a timepiece. And he's joining Divine Joy Randolph, Halle Bailey, and of course our favorite Kelvin Harrison Jr. That's already a dynamite cast. Yep. I'm already there.
Yep. You said Kelvin. I was like, oh baby, I'm thinking you know me.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that Brian Tyree Henry, part of the original cast of the Book of Mormon.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. He went to he went to theater school. Like he's a trained actor and shit.
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of people came to know him as Paperboy, you know, from Atlanta. But like, sure, if you watch him on like interviews and things like that, you can tell that he's very much like on the artsy side of the acting business, and not like it's like, oh, like I'm here to make this money. Yeah. Like obviously it's part of it, but like this is a passion for him, and for he's like he's an artist.
Yep. Speaking of artists, and particularly musical artists, Kid Cudi recently announced that he has to cancel his upcoming tour after injuring himself during a performance at Coachella week in second weekend. He jumped off stage and he revealed on Instagram, guys, so I've broken my callonesis. I'm headed to surgery now, and there's going to be a long recovery time.
AKA, this nigga broke his foot.
Well, that's like his ankle, right?
No, it's his foot. It's like, I think that I'm pretty sure it's a bone in your foot.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he just said that the injury is way more serious than he thought, and unfortunately, he had to cut a set short. I didn't get a chance to watch it live on YouTube. And folks, by the way, you can watch Coachella live on YouTube. Yeah, you just have to like coordinate the schedule right. But yeah, go. Like I'm never going to that thing, so it's great quality too. Yeah, we just put it on the TV. When we were in LA, we had on a projection screen. That was dope.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's crystal clear picture. You don't have to go and be with that crazy ass crowd, folks. You can watch this shit from home, have your own drinks and everything. But yeah, we wish Kid Cudi a fast recovery.
Yeah, you know what? And there are two things you don't want to fuck with. One is your mouth and your feet. No, like you don't want to get fucked up, because when you fuck up your foot, yeah, like it's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard to be.
It's hard to be mobile, whatever. And your mouth, it's just everything you do, your mouth plays some play into it. So it's like, those are like really hard injuries on you.
Oh,
or your back.
He broke he broke his heel.
Yeah,
it's a large bone in the heel.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he ain't moving around. It's gonna be day and night. I can't move because I fucked my
foot. His new name is Kid Boot. Because that's what he's gonna be in.
Oh boy. And a random renewal news. Have you been watching Fallout on Prime?
I haven't started watching.
I haven't watched it either. We obviously went to the immersive experience at South by Southwest, which we talked a little bit about in our recap. But it's being renewed for second season.
Already.
Yep. After preparing to be in one of Prime Video's best reviewed shows ever, it's at 94% average on Rotten Tomatoes. It's already acquired the tax credits in California, and apparently it's the highest rated streaming show of the past week by a mile. Like where I'm talking like 2 billion streams or some shit.
It's crazy because like
streaming hours.
how long has this been out? Only about like 2-3 weeks,
2-3 weeks, yeah.
2-3 weeks.
It's a huge
and we can't get another season of Warrior.
Yeah, but this I think it's interesting because like I think Amazon's starting to realize like, hey, we do have hit shows.
Yeah.
So let's start releasing them on a weekly basis, like kind of what they were doing with Invincible, but better. You know, but apparently it's really good. I'm looking forward to watching it because Walton Gong is awesome. And then there's an actress named Ella Purnell who's in it, and she's got like beautiful eyes. It's like cat eye, but it's I don't know. I'm into it.
I like cats.
That's so weird. So we've only covered Sundance Film Festival one time, I believe, and that was during the pandemic. And since then, haven't been approved for it. Oh well, actually, I was approved the following year, but it was like during the Omicron variant or some shit. And I was actually gonna go to Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah.
But then like because I got hooked up with like someone who had a room, that was gonna be like $2,000 for like 3 days.
Oh yeah, you've never been to park.
I've never been there, and I remember being like, okay, like that's a huge investment, but like I'll make the most of it. I'll be out all night and shit doing stuff. And I was like, okay, but I asked the guy, I'm like, do I get a refund? Because Omnicron was like starting to pick up.
Yeah,
and he was like, nah, like there won't be any refunds if you have to cancel or whatever, or like gets canceled. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, 2,000.
So it's like if I couldn't find lodging, I'm not going to pay for a flight.
Yeah.
So I never went in person, and I got denied ever since then,
Mm-hmm.
which is unfortunate, Sundance, because y'all need to do better because Salt Lake City and Park City are incredibly unaffordable.
Yes,
especially if you're a critic of color that doesn't really have a trade or doesn't get paid that much. You know, we're not like studios and stuff like that. And so the fact that the Sundance Film Festival is looking to potentially find a new host city for 2027 and beyond is incredibly exciting because you could go with a place that will appreciate it, that won't fucking cost you a mortgage payment to go enjoy this festival.
Well, I mean, and part of the reason is because obviously on those mountains, like have you ever been to Park City?
Never been.
First of all, Park City is beautiful.
I've heard good things.
Salt Lake City is beautiful as well, but there is a ton of money in that area. I've been to Park City like maybe like three times now. It's beautiful up there, but part of it is the fact is, that the rich folk is just like, hey, there's helicopters flying over to go up to, go up to Park City, stuff like that. It's too much noise. Like, we don't want it. So basically, they're just like, you guys are going to have to fight. So basically, they've just been fighting it. And like with the helicopters flying, they shut that down. So these people have power, so this, when you deal with that kind of money, this is what happens. I just wonder, where is it going to be? And I actually hope if they're going to move to another place, they move somewhere that's a little bit more warm weather.
Yep.
And somewhere that's a little bit more remote to kind of bolster the economy, in a different city. Like, you know what? Listen, if you guys listen to this podcast long enough and you heard me talk about the great state of Ohio, I don't have great things to say about it. But I think Ohio could be a great spot because Ohio does need a bit of a change, in they have
narrative. And they probably have the real estate. And like, I don't know if they have any towns like Columbus or anything like that, or Toledo, will have the resources or venues to accommodate it. But I definitely think you should give a state that typically doesn't get this kind of love.
Yes.
A shot. If Utah's and their cities are not adjusting and making things more affordable and more accessible, then fuck it, go somewhere else.
Listen, I'm gonna say this: please stay away from Florida. Nobody wants, like, Miami doesn't need it, or those other places, because also the laws and things like that are going to, like, I don't think that a lot of people would feel comfortable being in Florida. Or you know what? There's a good one. I'm sorry, I know I cut you off. Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh. First of all, the people of Pittsburgh, if somebody's in Pittsburgh listening, I love your city. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And they have an emerging art scene out there, which has been for a while. And like, I think that this meshes with that. It could be a perfect marriage.
Well, that's what I was actually going to suggest. Why I was going to suggest Detroit.
Okay, yeah.
Detroit, like, since the auto industry is fucking crazy. You got the Fox Theater. You have comedies kind of picking up there. You got like a storied history in a lot of different industries there. And it's a city that can accommodate that kind of volume. And give a good variety. And it provide a lot of job opportunities. Like yeah, we already come up with a few options. Or I mean, New Orleans already has too much going on.
Yeah. It's like, because then now you're going to have to try to figure out the correct time to do it.
Yeah.
And then also, the natural disaster thing, happening around in New Orleans. I think,
Oh yeah,
you want to look at a place that's,
that you can also get good insurance probably on the event and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Folks, call in. Let us know where you think that Sundance Film Festival should go to.
Yeah, promote your city, Dan.
Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/media popcorn. You get up to 90 seconds to leave us a message. Once again, that's speakpipe.com/media popcorn.
Right into the pipe.
Yep. Speaking to our pipes. Let us know what's going on. Speaking of pipe, oh, that's pause. That's not great. That's not a great one. Yeah, I don't really have a segue for this. But the new showrunner of the revised Good Times show, Renata Shepard, is speaking out about some of the negative responses that she's getting from the recently reanimated reboot of the acclaimed show, saying just give it a second and look at the stories and you'll understand. But I also understand if this is jolting. Have you watched any of the Good Times? I have
not watched it yet. Have
reboot?
You?
I watched the pilot episode and it was rough. Okay. It was definitely rough. I didn't lie. I chuckled once. But I was I think I get what they were trying to do. I don't know why it's associated with Good Times, besides just the name recognition. That's what really frustrates me about all this IP that's being used. It feels like it was trying to just be its own thing, like a mix of Good Times meets Baby's Kids or something like that. But then they just said it's Good Times, and like I think he's supposed to be JB Smooth's character, supposed to be the grandson
of JJ Walker.
Yeah, I think so. And it just doesn't quite.
Yeah, because
doesn't quite work.
I believe I don't know the gentleman that played JJ Walker.
Wasn't it John Amos?
No, that's the father.
Yes, you're right.
Who one of the first Black people to step up and really fight for Black pay equality and better treatment, and that shit got him fired. That's why they killed him off that show.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Jimmy Walker. Yeah, Jimmy
Walker. There you go.
Yeah,
like Jimmy Walker, and there's another person that was in the original series that do make cameos in the show.
Yeah, and it's animated, so you're not quite seeing how everything fits together.
The voice will work.
Honestly, I mean, the voice actors are, you have Yvette Nicole Brown, Marsha Martin, Jay Farrell, and Sling Johnson, who I've met on a few podcasts, doing voices. The biggest miscast for me is JB Smooth. He makes it too, like, he kind of gives it an extra coonish vibe.
Okay.
It's a little bit too much for me personally.
You know what?
But I also know I'm a little bit more.
To ask you, I'm
also a little bit more reserved. But like it's like it definitely rubbed me the wrong way. Okay. Granted, I only watched the pilot episode, but that's usually your strongest episode. So I will try to watch episode 2. But again, folks, leave us a voice message at speakpipe.com/media popcorn. Let us know what you thought about the Good Times reboot, and if the showrunner is justified in saying just give it a shot. Give it a second try if it's worth it. 10 episodes. Okay. And I after one, I was like, I don't know. Even with a half hour, I'm like, that's like 5 hours of my life. Yeah.
I mean, listen, maybe I may fire it up after I'm done with X-Men 97.
That's going to be a huge fall from what I saw.
I know, but I'm saying like just, something to fill that gap between the other things that are coming out.
Question, because we never found out fully why the showrunner got fired. They have 2 seasons already in the can.
Yeah.
But after that second season of X-Men 97, what happens? Does the show quality dip because he's not, that's why I'm really curious.
Mind you. So X-Men is a very important series because, it does cover kind of like, racial equality. Also is very important and pivotal in the queer community.
Yep.
So, and I believe that
he's a Black queer man.
Yeah, Black queer man. So it's like, you guys have to put, somebody else from that community at the helm because they understand, what this is supposed to be if they're really a fan. So like, if they fired him and they just would be like, yo, let's get this random white dude, this is a straight white guy, and like, it's not going to work because again, people, if you understand X-Men and you understand the comic books, it is black and it is gay. It's all written over it. Like Iceman is gay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many characters, but like there's a lot of parallels, and then not they obviously dealing with that kind of subject matter is very touchy.
Yeah.
So you need to have someone who understands how to give that to you and give it to you the right way, so it doesn't come off as I guess just polarizing.
Yeah, it's not overt what they're doing and what they're aiming for, or what X-Men 97. My only question with all this shit is like, how does it fit into MC canon? Like, is it part of MCU? So if not, is it just for fun? Like, I'm curious about what's the point.
A part of me, so a part of what I'm feeling is, I'm feeling like that at the end of the Marvels, they cross over at X-Men 97 universe, and that's the Beast from there. And and then this is going to cause an incursion, which then either wipes out the X-Men 97, or these mutants come into ours. But at the same time, I would like to see X-Men 97 continue on its own, because like it's so fucking good. Unless they're going to turn X-Men 97, all of a sudden it becomes live action.
Yeah.
At some point. But now, mind you, some of this I got from oh my God, another show that I watched. I don't know why I'm blanking, guys. I'm on a 7-day fast. That's why I'm blanking. my mind's fucking cloudy. Yeah, but Screen Crush.
Okay,
the guys at Screen Crush, they had a big conversation about this I was listening to. But I think there's something there. But again, I do not want this to go away. I love the animated aspect of it.
Yeah, it's a really cool show. I'm just curious, like, why now and why this? Like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also like, and this is what worries me about the MCU going forward, is like there's just so much like stuff you have to like know now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to be a very dedicated fan. And like, this has come from someone who still hasn't watched season 2 of Loki, and I still haven't watched Echo. So I'm like, I don't know how those fit into the bigger narrative at this point.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. But we keep pushing on. We keep pushing on, just like these old
X-Men 97. It's very true to the comics. Like, it's very true to the comics. And there's if like seeing what they're doing and some of the shit's coming, that's just about to get crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm sure. Again, and I will say it until the day is old. Rogue is probably the baddest comic book chick in the game ever.
She's one of them.
She is so fucking, like, I think it's the hair. Like the titties and the ass are nice, but the hair with the titties and the ass.
The accent too.
Yeah, man.
But I love me some Storm too.
I love Storm too. Like, if I had them both, oh man. Let them both together and did a Neapolitan.
Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony.
I'd be like, this is gonna be a child care center pretty soon. The way I want to go through this. All right.
Take my powers.
Jesus Christ. So doing a flip from talking about the creative work of a Black queer artist, we're not going to talk about straight white men. Martin Scorsese has announced his next 2 films. One which will be about the life of Jesus. He's going to do another Jesus movie with the eye of Andrew Garfield and potentially Miles Teller starring. I think this will be in a similar vein as his 2016.
But we don't know who would actually be playing the titular character.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll probably be Andrew Garfield. He's ripped enough. Like, he's skinny enough where he can like just do a few more
across and it'll be all good.
And then the second project that he has in works is a project about Frank Sinatra that potentially would star his frequent collaborator Leonardo DiCaprio playing the singer, and Jennifer Lawrence playing his second wife, actress Ava Gardner, who broke up Sinatra's marriage with Nancy Barbato.
But at the same time, they haven't gotten clearance from Frank Sinatra's estate. Yeah. And being the fact is that his daughter Frank Sinatra's daughter is basically runs the estate, and this movie is about
the breakup of his marriage.
Yeah,
like
the woman
marriage,
who broke up was like, but I guess they're trying to push ahead with it.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, look at this cast we have. Don't you want?
I mean, they got to push ahead soon because Leo just getting older and older. He, he's a good looking dude, but like, come on, man, the cracks are showing.
I don't know if I see him as Frank Sinatra.
Me neither.
Yeah,
me neither. He doesn't sing either.
Yeah, so that would be interesting.
Yeah,
I think they should go another direction. But I mean, and listen, it's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
you don't go another direction from Leonardo DiCaprio. But if I don't see how that works, I mean.
Who knows? Make it happen. It may not even happen. It may not even happen. Sure. Similar to Quentin Tarantino's recent movie, The Movie Critic, which was announced as his final film with Brad Pitt and talks to star.
Well, he's supposed to reprise his role from Once Upon
from Cliff Booth, which apparently was one of the. So the thing that was interesting with this, the story that unfolded about Quentin Tarantino pulling away from this last project because he has announced his 10th film will be his last film.
Yeah.
Whether or not he sticks to that, like a la Jay-Z being like, Black God's my last album. Like, we'll see. But, apparently this is the first time ever with his drafts that he was constantly revising shit.
Yeah.
So initially it was about like, I guess this film critic that like would review like foreign movies and stuff like that. And then it evolved to potentially being a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which would have been his first sequel. And then also there was a direction where
it could have been Kill Bill too.
No. Whoa, oh yeah, Kill Bill. Well, technically that was all one big script.
That's true.
And he split into
two.
True. Because if you read it, it's like 200 something pages or some shit. But yeah, and one iteration was going to be that it was going to be extra meta, where the film critic potentially critiques movies within the Quentin Tarantino filmography, which would have been really weird, but an ability for him to bring back former people. I think if this is his last project, he just wants to make sure it's the best it could possibly be. It's like the best mic drop.
It makes sense.
And everyone in fucking Hollywood's probably gonna want to be in it.
Yep.
Like, because you literally get to pick. Think about all the actors he's worked with and be like, who do I like? It's like you literally can pick from the all-star lineup.
Sam Jackson's definitely gonna be in it.
It has to be. Leo at this point.
Yeah,
Leo, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Leo, Brad Pitt.
Probably even bring back Jamie Foxx. Christoph Waltz is definitely gonna be in it.
Yeah,
you got Steve that nigga. Steve Buscemi would be great. Harvey Keitel, he's still around. Probably Margot Robbie. Why did I like just got weird there? Who else? Michael Madsen, unfortunately, will probably be in it.
Yeah,
because it's his last movie.
Yeah,
could even bring back Travolta or something.
That would be wild.
That'd be really crazy.
Ving Rhames will probably be in there.
Oh yeah, I mean he has to pick up a litter.
Yeah,
probably finally get Adam Sandler to do something.
He could literally,
because Adam Sandler is supposed to be the Bear Jew in Glorious Bastards.
He could literally get anybody to sign on for this.
Yeah. So I get it. I would want to make sure like I have a script that like I love, that like I think is representative of everything I've been building up towards. And hopefully he only has like 2 M-bombs this time.
Oh no. He's gonna drop them like plentiful niggas.
It's so confusing, man, as like a fan, because you're like, why are you so excessive with it? But then like Sam Jackson just recently did an interview about how much he loves working with Tarantino. Yeah, he's like Sam Jackson's probably like one of the blackest actors I've ever seen. Yeah. Like, I don't know what to do with this information. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, you know what?
What's happening?
If you trust somebody and you trust their vision, you trust them. True. And obviously, Quentin Tarantino knows how to build trust, and that's an extremely important thing as a director or anybody in the industry. People have to trust you.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst recently landed in hot water by saying that she feels that she deserves to be paid as much, if not more, than Tobey Maguire for the first Spider-Man film.
Yeah,
because I think she said at the time that she had done Bring It On and had been. Just had a bigger profile than Tobey Maguire at the time.
Yeah.
Which I don't fully disagree. If memory serves from the marketing, we were talking about this before we got on mic. They advertised the fuck out of Kirsten Dunst.
True.
Because like for a teenage boy, like I was into her because of Bring It On. And then they constantly advertised that, Kiss in the Rain scene where her titties roll out and wet and shit.
They won MTV Best Kiss.
Yeah, they weren't showing Tobey Maguire with his teary eye like his Uncle Ben died,
hey, MJ, can I just kiss you? Yeah. Kiss me.
Like I would have done. I mean, but obviously it's it's always like Hollywood's always skewed towards men in regards to salary and pay and stuff like that. But I would have hoped that her reps would have fought to be like, okay, if you're not gonna pay her as much upfront salary, make sure that she gets this amount in the back end. Yeah.
So now, but on the other end of the spectrum, Tobey Maguire is the titular character.
They were going to recast him in Spider-Man 2. They were about to put Jake Gyllenhaal on there because he was dating Kirsten Dunst at the time when Tobey was getting difficult.
I did not know.
Yeah, that's a big story.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Jake Gyllenhaal had been a better Spider-Man.
Well, you know what I mean? Like he was replaceable.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm like, I see where people maybe are getting, caught up in their sweats about what Kirsten said. I don't know.
The sweatpants are in a bunch. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know. That's still not
a in a bunch. I don't know. What would they say in Britain?
Yeah, whatever. So, like whatever you're trying to say. No, but at the same time, it's like I understand why people are like, this is like, yo, but you're not the main character. But I don't understand the extreme hate that they bring towards people, because at the same time, I don't know what was going on at that time. None of us know what was going on at time at the studios. Also, like you said before we jumped on the podcast, that was at a time where women, no matter their profile, they were being paid significantly less than the men that they were acting alongside of,
and being told to overly sexualize themselves. And she's a kid actor, and I'm sure she has, unfortunately, some very creepy stories about her experience. No one was trying to fuck Toby. I'm sorry. Until he got that Spider-Man money, I promise you, no one in Hollywood was trying to fuck. If he and
this nigga did Seabiscuit.
He and Leonardo DiCaprio are like really close friends, apparently.
Yeah.
But if like they were going to a party, no one's trying to fuck Toby. It's to get close to Leo to fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's no one's like,
and it's also known that Toby is not a nice guy to have to deal with.
What I've heard, yeah.
He is not fun.
For folks that don't know, Michael Cera's character in Molly's Game, the film that Aaron Sorkin did, Michael Cera's character is Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And that guy is a piece of shit.
So like, this is, I could, and then also being the fact is that he was difficult to work with on set.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah, I could see her being emboldened. It's just like, why did they pay this guy all this fucking money? And it's like, I had more star power than him.
Yeah. That's what's so funny about Spider-Man No Way Home. Because you see, as we talked about it earlier, actors, when they do superhero movies, they eventually get tired of getting fit all the time or having to wear those fucking costumes.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer Lawrence is like, I'm not putting on that blue makeup no more. Like, just make sure I'm a human form. Yeah. Explain it, some shit. Tobey Maguire, No Way From Home, like, he only suits up in the last, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because before that, he just wearing, clothes. He just wearing, casual shit.
Hey, guys.
He literally comes to the portal just dressed up like a regular white guy.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's over here fucking in the suit, flipping and shit, catching biscuits. It's fucking crazy.
Well, and to that point is like Spider-Man 3 is the shit show that it was, partly because Tobey Maguire was tired of being in the fucking suit.
Yes.
Yeah. He was just like, I don't want to work out to do all this shit anymore. Yeah. So it was less Spider-Man in the suit and more Spider-Man fucking jazz handing down the street.
Well, I mean, that was insane.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, Spider-Man 3 was a mess. But that's why I actually applaud directors like Justin Lin for quitting when if it's one thing to deal with difficult actors, but if legit you're miserable and the person you're supposed to be working in tandem with won't meet you halfway. Like Ben Diesel wasn't working out to be in shape. He needed everything to be cut around him to make him look good versus it being serviceable to the film.
Yeah.
And that's when I give him all the credit for being I can't do this no more.
Vin Diesel was like, I just want to eat my pasta fazool. I don't know why.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was
really weird. Hollywood Reporter recently released an article that talked about how in this current climate in Hollywood following the 2 strikes, that it's easier and easier for directors to find themselves in movie jail, particularly if you are a woman or a person of color. And so for me, reading this article, and folks, you can find it on HollywoodReporter.com, I am deciding to be very mindful of how I critique films, particularly from films that are made by people of color or represent, like, underrepresented communities, just because if now studios and production companies are looking at the Rotten Tomato scores of those creatives' last works, and they're not a big name like Tarantino, Spielberg, or something like that, I personally want to be more mindful of that because I don't want to prevent a director maybe just had a bad swing from potentially.
Are we also talking about Tubi directors?
Whoa, that's it.
I
feel like if you're on Tubi, you are in director jail. But it's complicated because I also want to make sure I'm being fair.
No, 100%.
But it's something important because it's, I don't want to. Yeah, it's just frustrating, like, to know that that's like what's happening. Obviously, we take our roles as movie critics seriously. Like, obviously, we joke and stuff like that, but we're trying to be more mindful of like the creative process and like that some things just don't come together.
Well, and to that point, another article that we had out is about how much money is being lost on the
that's why ignoring
diversity and inclusion. So like
$30 billion,
$30 fucking billion, and they're like, and in this they mainly highlighted, well, not mainly highlighted, but they really did highlight the Asian community, the Asian Pacific Islanders
market,
market. And it's just like, because like they did a breakdown and it all makes sense. It's just like, and by Hollywood ignoring that, how much money they're losing, which just shows like it's not beneficial for them financially, it's not beneficial for them socially.
Yep.
So why are you still doing this? And to that point, if we want
decision makers,
yes,
it's all white guys.
If we want to be a part of the solution, then we can't necessarily be putting, pumping the same narrative that these guys are. It's just like, well, this black artist just is trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's why they're not paying us, because they're saying that our voices don't matter, our visions don't matter as much as this white dude, such and such.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not true. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves, and they're just leaving so much money on the table. And this fucking stupid streaming process it's kind of like, it's so counterproductive to the purpose of movie theaters and the movie going experience. There's no reason why half the movies that came out a month ago are available on video on demand now. Monkey Man's available on demand now.
Yeah.
How are you expecting to make any kind of return to the theater? People know that's going to be, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Because they're trying to kill the theaters.
It's just completely crazy. And that's why I get frustrated with a movie like Hitman. Now we're talking about trailers, everybody. Hitman, which is apparently a really great movie starring Glenn Powell. He co-directed it with director Rick Linklater. And it looks fun. It looks interesting because you kind of clarified it for me. I was like, wait, is he a hitman? Or no, you're like, no, he's a cop that pretends to be a hitman to bust these people. But then he gets involved with this really, who's that actress? Like, Lord Almighty.
Oh, boy. Heavens, the Murgatroyd.
But it's released on Netflix.
Yeah. Like
it's going nowhere.
Yeah, that could be a great theatrical release, especially because this gentleman Glenn Powell is a star, and he's a star, and you just have to build his star power, and that's in films.
Yeah, Adriana Adorno is the actress, by the way. She was in Morbius.
God bless you.
Yeah,
I mean, not with Morbius, but God bless you in so many other ways.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn Powell luckily has Twisters, so he's going to have a good year probably. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like movies like Hitman or even Atlas, which stars Jennifer Lopez, this weird AI driven world, and she's like on a mission or ship,
kind of Ghost in the Shell kind of feel.
Yeah. But that's also a Netflix release. But apparently her movies do really well on Netflix.
Yeah.
So
the medium works for her. Yeah. And I imagine she has some sort of contract.
Probably. But it looked fine. I mean, Sterling K. Brown's in it, so like that's promising. And it doesn't look terrible, but I also didn't see her last Netflix movie. But
which one?
There's one that came out.
Oh, she's
the mom. I think it's called The Mother or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, but I feel like that's the problem with Netflix movies is that like they release things and you never hear.
I did a rant on it.
Oh, okay.
I did a rant on it. So check it out on Patreon.
Was it good? If you did a rant on it? No. Probably not. But yeah, Hitman, looks promising. It's just like I would like to see this in the movie theater, probably not.
Yeah,
just watching at home where it is what it is.
Also, it's like who decides what goes to the movie theaters and what doesn't? Because some of the films
studio marketing
that get to the movie theaters, I'm just like, what were you guys thinking? Why this?
What were you thinking?
Yeah, like no, but seriously though, like what, like why?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people ask that at times, but I asked that when I watched the Transformers 1 trailer. Because despite having a cast that includes Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, and Scarlett Johansson, Brian Taylor Henry, I believe, is playing Megatron,
and
then Chris Hemsworth is Optimus Prime. It's like a prequel, like they're like kind of like young in the whatever Starfleet or whatever.
No, this is before
Starfleet. Isn't that Star Trek?
They're not Transformers yet.
But they look like the cars.
No, but no, they can't. This is basically them getting the ability to transform.
Okay.
So they're not Autobots or anything yet. They're just like, fucking robots on this robot world.
Got it.
And then this, basically, oh, you have a destiny, yada yada yada. And then they get this, this power, and it's basically their origin story, rising to power. Yeah, it does seem a little fun. I will say this: it seems fun. Hold on, it seems fun, but it also seems like a lot of nonsense.
It felt like nothing but nonsense. And the animation for me, like it reminded me of a Saturday morning cartoon. If you're doing a theatrical release of any kind of animation, animated IP, I'm expecting it to look better than what I see on TV. That's the thing. Like I remember back in the '90s when the Rugrats movie came out.
Yeah.
I remember the animation looks so dope. And you're like, that's how like it's telling the studio's telling you this is a cinematic, like this is theatrical.
Yeah, we put money behind this.
The only time when I accepted that, like, where it looked like what I could see at home video was Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Because it looked just like the show.
Yeah.
But like Simpsons, they improved the animation. They changed the animation.
South Park did too.
South Park. Well, kind of.
No, they did. You can tell the movie, like especially that first South Park movie, you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about the TV movies.
Yes.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, no. The movie that the first the one that actually went to theaters.
Yeah, you keep saying the first though, because that's the theatrical one.
Yes.
But I know what you're saying. Yes. Yeah, I remember Doug's first movie. I'm like, that's gonna be his last fucking movie because that looks just like a terrible Disney show.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, don't call Doug terrible.
No, the Nickelodeon version of Doug. Well, Nickelodeon version of Doug is cool, even though I tried to rewatch it for that podcast, and it was traumatic as fuck. It was so triggering because Doug just has anxiety. And it's just crippling anxiety. Like
he has this motherfucker named Roger Klotz.
Roger Klotz is a psychopath, and then you have fucking Mr. Dink, who definitely is a pedophile serial killer.
Expensive.
Yeah. Every episode started like the recent episodes before I ended the podcast. Which I would just be like, yeah, Mr. Dink is creepy. There's something sinister going on here. He would just pop up at this nigga's house in the middle of the rainstorm.
And he's asking for the kid. Hey there, Douglas.
I don't like it. I never liked it. All right. So Transformers 1, I mean, you said it looks fun. I just think it looks corny. And the trailer was way too long. It was almost 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving away a lot of stuff, yo.
But they did have that cold opening. Well, not cold opening. They had the thing with Ryan Tyree Henry and
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth sitting there talking. Like they should have just went right to it.
I think they were trying to like show, hey, they're friends before they became enemies and sliced each other's.
So are we?
Which is so stupid. But the next trailer we're talking about is Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan movie starring Josh Hartnett as a dad who's at a conference of a famous music artist, and he learns that
a conference or a concert.
Concert. Did I say conference?
Yes, you said
My
conference.
bad.
I was just like, wait, what?
My bad.
Did I watch the wrong trailer?
A concert. And of course, he talks to this one brother at the merch table. He's like, hey, man, I'm not supposed to tell nobody this, but I'll tell you, creepy white guy.
But here's the
this is a trap. And then we learned that this is a trap for a famous serial killer. And we get a hint that the serial killer is probably Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
And then that's what the movie in it. Incredibly interesting premise. And I love seeing Josh Hartnett back. And like, he had the little part in Oppenheimer and stuff. Like he's been working steadily, but like that was a big breakout where people were like, oh shit, Josh Hartnett. So for him to be coming back to like the horror genre is interesting.
So so now this is an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
So This is my take on what it's gonna be. It's the daughter. The daughter's the serial killer, but he recently found out that she has like people locked up, a place like that. It's the daughter, and he's trying to protect his daughter from going down. And like everyone's gonna think it's him, but it's
not. Everyone keeps saying like, yeah, like there's gotta be like another twist. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the craziest twist for M. Night Shyamalan movie to be like, I'm gonna reveal the twist before?
No, there is no twist.
Yeah, like what if that's like his move this time?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's going to the movie wondering what the next twist is gonna be. Like, no, I told y'all.
Yeah. There ain't no twist. This is a movie. It's just straight.
Well, I mean, technically there's a twist. It's just we already know it.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, fuck you guys. I just told you the twist. So it's up to you. If you still decide to go see this movie and you're like, where's the twist? I gave it to you.
I mean, it's a very interesting premise.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed watching it. I was just like, okay, this seems really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with Hitman. I thought Hitman seemed very interesting as well. I just, I just wonder how are they going to keep the audience captivated for this hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, how is it going to pan out? Because we know that M. Night sometimes can fall apart in the third act.
Exactly.
And so even when like he gets a really good performance, it can still fall apart. Like I thought
it fizzles out.
What was the last one we just saw with Dave Bautista? What was that called? Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. I
thought was solid first 2 acts, fell apart in the third act, but still was strongly anchored by a great performance by Bautista.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm definitely intrigued, interested, but before Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was my most anticipated movie in 2024, and Deadpool and Wolverine was a close second. After the most recent trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, though, this movie is now shot to my most anticipated movie.
Number one,
because I think, given like that, they revealed that Cassandra Nova is the villain, which is, for those who don't know, that's Professor X's twin sister, who's fucking a beast in the comics. And it's like this weird alt world where all the X-Men villains are gathered and shit. Because you can see Toad, you can see obviously if you saw Pyro in the teaser, and then she comes out that giant man head with the skull still in it.
Yeah.
On Professor X's wheelchair. I'm like, that's a dope villain. That's already like I'm getting like a cool vibe. But I think they're gonna have a lot of fun cameos in this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think they're gonna put a really good bow on the Fox stuff that we saw before this, and that's including the Fantastic Four, like Jessica Alba. I think they're gonna bring in anything that was not MCU canon is gonna be kind of involved in this movie, outside the Sony shit.
So here's the crazy thing. I don't know if you realize, but watching the trailer when it first opens up, it very much opens up like the trailer for the Logan game that's coming out.
Oh yeah, with the bar and stuff. Yeah.
No, but like which is also very stereotypical Wolverine. Characterization. It's right there for him. But like the scene looks almost exactly like him sitting at that bar. I mean, outside of he's not wearing the flannel thing, but like. I was watching. I was just like, listen, guys, I'm watching it right now because it's just so good.
It brings a smile to your face because you're like, they obviously been teasing this for a long time. Like they've just had that weird rivalry on social media and stuff, and then for them to finally be together and like they both are such masters of these characters at this point that they can have so much fun with these different iterations. Because this is clearly going to be a different Logan than what we've seen before.
Yeah,
he's definitely I think he's from a different universe that we have not seen before.
So this is the thing,
which would be really interesting.
Originally I thought that this was going to be a prequel to Logan, and that like in this it's just like so he said that he
failed his
universe. So like, is this a different universe from but kind of adjacent to the Logan universe where he's actually the one that killed all the X-Men?
I was thinking that like old man Logan, because I was telling Tati like not Mephisto, Mysterio fucks with his head and he kills all the X-Men.
Yes.
I was like, that's a good way to and then sets up the redemption, like he's fighting on behalf of the X-Men, taking out all these villains. Because I'm pretty sure Hugh Jackman's going to end up dead at the end of this.
Yeah.
Again, to put another bow on the character or whatever, and potentially tease us a different Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do this. I don't think you can do a separate movie where you introduce the new Wolverine. I think you have to do a passing the torch in some capacity from Hugh Jackman to somebody, because if you have too much of a time gap between this movie and whatever you do with X-Men, I don't know, because we've seen Hugh Jackman play the character so many times now, if audiences will accept that if they don't see Hugh Jackman like actually in the symbol in this like in some way passing the torch. I don't know how they'll pull it off, but I'm starting to think that the rumors about the cameos we're going to see are true, and that includes Wesley finally coming back real quick as Blade.
That would be awesome.
Like, I think everything we wanted to see in Doctor Strange 2 might actually be in this.
I mean,
because if there's a creative team that could get them together, it's Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Sean Levy. Because in what was it, Fall Guy or Free Guy? Free Guy.
Yeah, Free Guy.
Random ass cameos. That's how you know we're getting Channing Tatum as Gambit. Because if you haven't seen Free Guy, Channing Tatum randomly pops up for like 5 minutes in that movie for no reason. Like, there's no way we're not getting his take on Gambit, which is going to be insane.
Yep.
Because him doing a Cajun accent could be fucking nuts. And they might even make fun of it. You know what I mean? I can see Ryan Reynolds be like, that's what you were going to do? Like, that's what you decided to do with this character, huh? No wonder you didn't get the green light. Something like that. Because he could be that meta.
Yeah.
You know? Like, at the end, he says, like, you know, because they're like, you want to do cocaine? He's like, why? He said that's the one thing we can't do. So it's going to be very meta. And I'm into it. Also, using Madonna like a prayer is fucking nuts.
Yeah, this movie's gonna be fucking amazing. I can't wait for July to hit. For now, 2 reasons.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Have we announced? Oh, we haven't announced to the general public.
Yeah, general public. Yeah.
I mean, we're wrapping up the episode anyway.
Yeah. So guys, this coming July, it's all coming full circle. And yeah, I know. It's all coming full circle.
To what?
Listen, Brandon. Listen, Brandon.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's all coming full circle. It's coming to an end. I'm leaving the pot now. No, I'm having a third baby. I'm at the final baby is coming.
The final
brown.
The
final brown is
final brown.
Yeah, enters sometime
Don't you
in
mean
July.
exits?
No, enters the world.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna exit the mother.
Yeah, let's not go with that narrative.
You're right.
Yeah, but the final brown enters sometime in July. We're not going to talk. No, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not going to tell sex because I've been talking to Brandon. We're talking about possibly doing something ridiculous as a gender reveal, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if Paula will go for it.
You say I want to be alive for when my baby is born.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm having a third kid. I know, like with Jackson, I took some time off, but that was partly because Jackson was born in Finland and recording was very hard. I don't think we'll take that much time off. We actually will probably have episodes kind of compiled, so the show's going to keep on going. But it would probably only be for like a week or two or something like that. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah. Final Brown on the way, and then I'm gonna cut my balls, baby.
I'm never gonna financially recover from that.
Oh, I definitely won't. I definitely won't.
Yeah, you're gonna have 3 kids. What's still be the age space now between them? Jackson and Axel are how?
So Jackson and Axel about 2.5, and then it'd be Axel and this one is 3. Literally 3 months.
Dude, you're gonna have, man. You better start saving them now because them college costs.
Yeah.
I mean, or you may as well get them a trade.
Nah, man. I'm sending their ass to Finland. They go free college over there. They go to Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Fuck up out of here.
Oh, Dakashane. Folks, as always, you can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on all social media platforms, particularly Instagram and Threads. You can follow the show at Media MP Podcast on those same platforms. Particularly go to TikTok. Instagram, those are where those pages are popping. And then of course youtube.com/mediumpopcorn. Push that subscribe button so you get alert about all future reviews and celebrity interviews that we have on the page. And Justin, if people want to support you and the show financially, yes, but also follow you, how can they do that? I just realized
support me and my family. Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on all the socials, also on Snapchat, and well, not Snapchat. Oh my God. guys. Again, brain fog. Venmo, I'm on Jay Brown. No, but guys, Snapchat. I know, Cash App. I meant. But guys, you can support and support this show and get extra content at patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages.
That's right.
So if you love this show, you want more, you want bonus episodes, you want our entire backlog, you want to have all just this greatness, you need to go to patreon.com/medium popcorn. Man, this is where I'm at today.
All right, little biscuits and sun-dried tomatoes. This is a long episode. We hope y'all been enjoying this stuff. Please let us know on social media, Medium P Podcast, or give us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/medium popcorn. And let us know what you've been thinking about these movie news and trailer reaction episodes, because we'll keep them going if y'all are enjoying them. But if not, we'll just go back to our regular scheduled movie reviews and stuff like that. So continue to let us know how y'all feeling. And until then, peace in the Middle East. Peace.